Hey guys, what's up? It's Maximum, and today we're going to be doing a DC tier list of DC superheroes. So I just wanted to do something a little bit easy, a little bit unscripted, and I know this is quite different from my regular content of music video edit kind of things. I still want to do that, and I've got a Spider-Verse one in my head that is brewing up still, but I also want to get into just videos like this and some more video essay type content. So if you guys want to see that stuff, let me know, or whatever videos you want, let me know in the comments. And yeah, so we're going to get started on this. Oh, also, this idea is from Infinity Comics. So if you want a video like this, you can check his YouTube page out. He's got some good stuff there. Alright, let's get into it. So first up, we have Batgirl. So there are a few Batgirls. There's Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain, which both have brilliant solo runs, if you guys haven't seen those. But we're going to be focusing on Barbara Gordon. So Barbara Gordon has had a long history, starting in the 60s, I believe, when she was introduced in the 66 Batman TV show with Adam West, and then brought into the comics at the same time. But she's been through a lot. She's most notably been in The Killing Joke, where she was shot by the Joker, Birds of Prey, where she was Oracle, and she's really good in the new Nightwing run with Tom Taylor. But yeah, I love Batgirl, man. Barbara Gordon, I think, is the OG and, just the best Batgirl, so I'm going to put her in A right now, but I might do some reshuffling later. But yeah, with these characters, we're just going to go, just person-by-person basis, whereas instead of, a title with Batgirl or Batman, where there's, a bunch of different people in that title, we're just going to do the one person. For, Batman, we're doing Bruce Wayne, and Batgirl, we're doing Barbara Gordon. Alright, Cyborg. Now, I love Cyborg in the Teen Titans comics. I think he's really good in the 2003 run by Jeff Johns, which is a lot of the other Titans down here that we'll see later. It's a brilliant run. Love Jeff Johns. But in the Justice League New 52 run, I feel like he was kind of pushed in. I can see that he does fit in the Justice League, but I just think he pushes out Martian Manhunter, which I prefer a lot more, just having the original 7 together. But I just think Cyborg belongs in the Teen Titans, but I do like his character, and I like when he does show up, but yeah, I don't know. I might put him in C tier right now, just because, compared to some of the others, he's not as strong. Red Hood, we're gonna go B tier. So Red Hood has had another complicated history with him being the second Robin and dying and coming back to life and Under the Red Hood, which is a fantastic comic and movie. If you haven't seen that, please check that out. That's so good. But yeah, Red Hood, recently, he's just been kind of fumbled around a bit by DC, where he's either a anti-hero or just a straight up hero or a villain. I don't think they can really decide. But I like him best when he's just a straight up villain, just tormenting Batman, or in the Batman and Robin run by Grant Morrison. He's great in that as well. And I'll have to check out Red Hood and the Outlaws as well to see him in a more heroic light. But yeah, for now he's going to go in B. I might put him down to C later, we'll see. Batman, there's really no other place to put him. Batman's everywhere. Everyone loves Batman. What else is there to say about Batman but S tier? Alright, Alan Scott, I believe. This is Green Lantern Alan Scott. I'm going to put you in E tier. So Alan Scott is a Golden Age character from the Justice Society of America. I do like when he shows up, but I don't know, as just a character himself, with his, he just seemed like an underbaked version of just all the rest of the Green Lanterns. He's a good starting point, but there's some stuff that just doesn't hold up, like his vulnerability to wood. I don't know. But I like his relationship with Jay Garrick. I think those guys go great together. But yeah, E tier for now. Aquaman is A tier. So, Aquaman, he's had a new resurgence with the New 52 run by Jeff Johns and the movie, of course. And Jeff Johns' stunt in Brightest Day as well with him, and that's a brilliant story. I'll be bringing that up a lot more later if you want to check that out as well. It's right after Blackest Night. But yeah, Aquaman's just like one of those staple heroes, with the original 7. I just think there's a lot of interesting stuff to do with Aquaman, with him in Atlantis, and stuff with Mera and Black Manta. Yeah, I just think Aquaman, A tier, definitely. Barry Allen. Now, let me see if there's a Wally West down here. I'll do him as well at the same time. Where is he? There he is. So I'll put Wally West up here, and then Barry Allen down there. So, yeah, I think it goes to say that Wally West is just a better Flash. In my personal opinion, and I feel like a lot of people will have this opinion as well, with the stuff that they did in the early 90s and the 2000s with Wally West, with Grant Morrison and Mark Waid and Jeff Johns. Their run's just iconic. That's like the perfect way of how to bring up a sidekick and put him in that superhero role. I think he's just made to be the Flash, and he's just great. But yeah, Barry Allen's, great as well. He's a great character and everything, but I feel like he's kind of piggybacking off of some of the stuff that they did with Wally West. Stuff like the Speed Force and, some of his characteristics. I feel like they're just piggybacking off Wally West. And then Barry Allen himself is kind of an uninteresting character. I do love Flash, and I do love Flash Rebirth by Jeff John as well. That is a great title. But yeah, if I had to choose between them, I'd just go Wally West every time. So yeah, Beast Boy, I think he goes in the same tier with Cyborg. They kind of go together. Beast Boy is also great in the 2003 run with the Teen Titans. But yeah, he's a lovable goofball, he's a ladies' man. He's a funny character, but I don't know. I feel like he's just not as strong as some of the rest of the characters on this tier. But yeah, also mainly with these, I will be focusing on the comics variations of these characters, because there are some times that the heroes that appear on screen, such as like Flash, Ezra Miller, is like completely different to the Flash in the comics. So yeah, speaking of, Black Canary has another one. I'll put her in B tier as well. Also, another thing I wanted to say about Beast Boy before we moved on, the stuff with him and Tara and the Judas Project is good stuff, like that. Alright, Black Canary. Black Canary is just an awesome character. I love when she shows up, especially in the Justice League, especially the Justice League of America run from 2007, where she's actually the leader of the team. And I think that just shows off a lot of her great attributes. She's a great fighter. She's very caring, kind of like what you see in Young Justice, with her being a therapist to the sidekicks. Yeah, Black Canary is just awesome. Black Canary kicks ass. And her relationship with Green Arrow as well just brings out the best in both of them. So I think Black Canary shines. And James Gunn, put her in the MCU. Her and Green Arrow, put them in there as soon as possible, please. Anyway, speaking of people that will appear in the DCU, I think it's called, very soon, will be Booster Gold. And Booster Gold goes in... he goes in C tier. I think, yeah, he's around the same as Cyborg and Beast Boy. Yeah, Booster Gold, I'm glad that he's going to get more attention with the new TV show coming out. Booster Gold's cool. He's got a great solo run with Jeff Johns as well. Jeff Johns is appearing a lot in this video. Shout out Jeff Johns. But yeah, and his stuff in Justice League International, I believe, from the 80s or 90s. Yeah. You know what I mean. I'll put it on screen. So Booster Gold is an interesting character because he's kind of two sides of a coin. On one side, he's a great hero, that is always there to save the day and looks like perfect to the cameras. But then outside of the cameras, he's a guy that's traveled back from the future and stole a bunch of stuff to look like a great hero, and he's just kind of putting it on for the cameras. And in real life, he's just kind of, just annoying and like in it for the money and stuff. And I think that's really interesting. You don't see a lot of that with a lot of superheroes. So yeah, he's a really interesting character. So John Constantine, for me, I think he goes in D. So let me explain before everyone goes to the comments. I like John Constantine. I like when he shows up. And the Arrowverse and like Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark's great. But, just his solo stuff I haven't really read. And, I'm not the biggest Grant Morrison, guy. I love his Batman stuff, but just like kind of out of that, not as much I have read. But yeah, John Constantine, he's cool. But, I don't know, I feel like I just prefer more like kind of mainstream looking superheroes, not as dark and gritty and kind of investigative, not as much for me. But I will get into it, and then eventually on the community tab I'll let you know what I think. But yeah, John Constantine. Damian Wayne he's either B or C. I think C. Just because yeah, C. So Damian Wayne is my least favorite Robin, and that's not saying that I dislike him. I do like him. I love some of the stuff that he has in the Super Sons with John Kent. I think that stuff is really good. And his relationship with Batman and Robin from the New 52 with Peter J. Tomasi writing that. I think that stuff's great. But yeah, just overall, I feel like Robin, he isn't like the kind of archetype Robin that I think of when I think of a Robin. And by saying that, I just mean Dick Grayson and Tim Drake. I just prefer. But it is good to have change, him as an assassin. I think that's a nice change of pace for Robin. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not the Robin that I, look for. I usually look for Tim Drake stories and stuff. But yeah, Damian Wayne's cool. I'm excited to see him in Braver Than Bold. But yeah, we just prefer another Robin. Deadman is also D. So Deadman I haven't read a lot of, but the stuff that I have seen of him and been privy to in Brightest Day, which again is a great comic I really loved. His backstory is really cool with him being like a egocentric acrobat, much like Dick Grayson with the acrobat and Booster Gold with the ego. And then he dies and becomes a hero and wants to like right the wrongs of his life by being a ghost and taking over other people's bodies and, just serving justice. I think that stuff's all really cool. And it's funny, him and John Constantine together, both from Justice League Dark. Yeah, so Deadman's cool. Elongated Man will also be E. The stuff that I have read of him, like 52, which is another amazing comic, which comes straight after Identity Crisis. I'll put that on screen as well. It's fantastic. And he's also in Identity Crisis. He's the main character. I feel like he's just a poor man's Plastic Man. Sorry to say. But yeah, I like he's a detective as well. That kind of puts him farther apart. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't go out of my way to read a Elongated Man comic, And Dr. Fate is just sick. Dr. Fate goes in C tier. Since I think Dr. Fate's powers are really cool, just him being Doctor Strange, but a little bit more powerful, and the stuff with his helmet and the Lords of Fate is really cool. But I feel like just with his helmet, getting rid of his personality and being, the God of Fate, blanking on what the god's name is, but I'll put it on screen. But yeah, just taking possession of his body and then getting rid of Kent Nelson kind of gets rid of some of the interesting parts of Dr. Fate. But, the drama of that is put to really good use and stuff like Young Justice. I think that's really cool. And yeah, him and Black Adam was really cool to see as well, but I just wish he had eyes. I'm a stiffler for stuff like that. And Firestorm goes in E as well, because I haven't read much solo stuff of Firestorm, but stuff I have seen of him in Brightest Day and Blackest Night is cool. There's some cool stuff to do with the character, and like him being two different personalities into one. It can be a bunch of different people in the comics, but it's always two people in the same body. But yeah, Firestorm, I don't know. He's just kind of like the second or third backup if you were going to make a Justice League, He's just kind of in the back there. But yeah, Firestorm. Green Arrow goes in S tier, of course. So, I love Green Arrow, I think he's really underrated, and people just kind of don't take him seriously because he's just a guy with a bow and arrow, he's just Hawkeye light. But I disagree. I love Green Arrow and his run by Kevin James, I believe his name is. Not Kevin James, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith's run of Green Arrow is fantastic, and it brings him back from the dead after he died sacrificing himself, and yeah, it just shows a lot of the humanity of Green Arrow. Green Arrow is just a really interesting character, and I think he's really human. And you see a lot of that in Justice League Unlimited as well, with him being like the little guy in the Justice League. That's why Batman puts him on the team. And I really like his beliefs, have been a leftist, represent. And yeah, he's just, he's an outspoken kind of guy. And he's just really interesting. Yeah, love Green Arrow. And I think you should check out the Kevin James run. Good stuff. Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner will be appearing in Superman Legacy soon as well. So he goes in C tier. Yeah. So Guy Gardner is another kind of outspoken guy, but he's more of a douchebag. He's a douchebag. And he kind of gets up in everyone's faces, and thinks he's better than everyone else. But on the inside, he's a softie. You kind of see that stuff with him and Ice in the Justice League International comic, and him and John Stewart and Green Lantern Corps. He really cares for John, and he's just a great friend, but, he just talks a lot. But stuff like that's interesting, It gets, builds conflict with, Batman punching him out in that one panel. That's so funny. And yeah, I can't wait to see him in Superman Legacy and how he kind of bounces off the rest of the team and Superman. Yeah, it's going to be great. But Guy Gardner's just not my favorite Green Lantern. And I'll get into my favorite Green Lantern soon. And that is very soon, since I believe this is Hal Jordan. So yeah, Hal Jordan, S tier, no questions. I love Hal Jordan. His Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern, with them bringing in all the different color cores and stuff, and yeah, just Hal Jordan's great. He's one of the founding Justice League members. He's got a great personality that really contrasts with Green Arrow's as well, because he's a righty. And yeah, he's really headstrong as well. He goes into action, with fists out, ready to go. He's always the first one to fly into a fight. And yeah, he's just really cool. He's really courageous, which is, kind of comes with him and his ginormous willpower. But yeah, I think Hal Jordan's just really inspirational, and he's got some great moments in the comics. Some real cool stuff. And yeah, also read that Green Lantern Jeff Johns run. I highly recommend. That stuff is amazing. Hawkman goes in D tier. Hawkman is not as interesting as Hawkgirl, and I will put Hawkgirl up in B tier. So Hawkman and Hawkgirl have really interwoven origin, where they're both reincarnated together through, millennia. But I feel like Hawkgirl has just had a lot of more kind of outside comics coverage with stuff like Justice League, Unlimited. I think her character's just really outshone Hawkman, and I think she's a really good pick for Superman Legacy. I should stop saying Superman Legacy. It's Superman now. Dang you, James Gunn, making everything confusing. But yeah, Hawkman, I haven't read much of his stuff, but I really like him in the JSA. He's always kind of bloodthirsty as well. He's always going for people's heads and being a bit brutal, kind of like what you see in Justice League of America and the New 52. But yeah, I'll put Hawkman in C tier. Just thinking about it, I like Hawkman, but Hawkgirl just a little bit more. Jay Garrick works not as a main character, but as a supporting role. He's a good mentor to Wally and Barry. He's a good mentor in the JSA with Stargirl and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to put him in D tier. I like him a little bit more than Alan Scott and these guys. Yeah, Jay Garrick's cool. I like when he shows up. He's cool in Injustice too. Alright, so now we have Jessica Cruz. And I'm going to put her, I think, E as well. Yeah. So I have seen Jessica Cruz in the Justice League versus Fatal 5 movie. I've seen her in Forever Evil, but I have not yet read Green Lanterns with her and Simon Baz. So I might just put them two together. I've also read Simon Baz and the Green Lantern Jeff Johns run, but other than that, I'm not too familiar with these two. But I would like to read that series, so let me know if it's good. But yeah, compared to the other Lanterns, I think they are just the weaker characters. I guess just because they're new and I'm more familiar with the rest. So yeah, let me actually just do the rest of the Green Lanterns as well quickly. So I'm gonna put Kyle and D and John and B. Yeah, I think that's a good kind of, you can see the Green Lanterns gradually going down. But yeah, John Stewart, yeah, I really like John Stewart. I like that he's a tactical man, that he's from the army, and that he puts those skills into his ring to make some great constructs. I think he's had some really emotional stories, like in Green Lantern Corps, where he goes through really hard decisions of like killing one of his fellow Lanterns and blowing up that planet. Blanking on the name now, but I'll have it up on screen. And yeah, I really like John. I might put him a little bit up actually, so it can be closer to Hal, because I think these two are neck and neck, but I think I'm just a little bit more familiar with Hal, so I prefer him a little bit more. And Kyle, I'm less familiar with. I know him from the Green Lantern Corps run by Peter J. Tomasi. I've also read the New Guardians, which was not as good, but I like the stuff that they did with him and being the White Lantern. I thought that was cool. But yeah, the stuff in the 90s with him and him being like the chosen Green Lantern to take on Hal's place and kind of help to defeat him, I thought was very cool. And I like that he is an artist as well, so he's like very imaginative with his creations with the ring. But yeah, actually, yeah, I will pull them up as well. You know, I love the Green Lanterns. They're one of my favorite franchises in DC. So, yeah, I'll put them up there. All right, Katana. Katana is going in F tier, our first F tier. So this is just because I'm also not as familiar with Katana as I'd like. I haven't read any Outsiders, but I have seen Suicide Squad, so that is not a very good first impression. I like her katana. I think that idea is really cool, but otherwise I think she's just kind of a bland character. Oh, but also, I do like her rivalry with Lady Shiva. Anyway, Martian Manhunter. So, you know, already I said before that I really like Martian Manhunter, so he's going to go C as well. I think Martian Manhunter has a brilliant backstory, a really sad backstory, with him being the last of his species, the last Martian, and being sent to Earth to become a detective and kind of blend in with society until he, you know, sees the rest of the heroes and uses his powers for good, you know, and not be afraid to show himself. He kind of still does with his kind of human-like form, but yeah. Martian Manhunter's cool. I like that he's kind of in charge of the Watchtower and like an overlooker in the Justice League. I think his powers are awesome as well with shape-shifting. You can do some really cool stuff with that. And he has a really cool arc in Brightest Day as well. Oh, and I love his addiction to Oreos. I think that's very funny. And that's a great character trait. So yeah. Mera. I kind of just lumping everyone in C right now, so I have to fix that. But yeah, Mera, I think Mera's very cool. I think she kind of gets a little bit more cool factor with Aquaman, with her ability to control water and being like a absolute badass in most of her appearances, especially with Jeff Johns. Like her in Brightest Day and Blackest Night, she's really cool. Yeah. I'm very curious what they're going to do in the DCU with Mera, because I'd love to see her and Aquaman again. Mr. Miracle, I'm going to put you in D. So, Mr. Miracle, Scott 3, he's a Jack Kirby creation. He comes from Apocalypse, and he's an escape artist, so he escapes their torture rooms, run by Granny Goodness, and escapes to Earth with his wife, Big Barda. But Big Barda's cool as well. I like Big Barda. But yeah, I think Scott Free is a very cool character. I think there's a very cool, insightful comic by Tom King that he did that kind of really gets to the core of Scott Free and his place in Apocalypse and on Earth and, you know, his own psyche. I think that stuff's very cool. So yeah, anything that Jack Kirby touches, you gotta love, you know. Nightwing. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I think Nightwing is just everything that Batman wants to be, but better. Nightwing is playful. Nightwing is athletic, and he's a great leader. He's the best Robin, and all around, he's just a really great character. I think runs such as Chuck Dixon's run in the 90s and Tom Taylor really prove what makes Nightwing such a great character, and that's his heart. You can see that a lot as well with his relationships with Batgirl and Starfire. You can see that Nightwing just really cares, and yeah, I really admire him for that. So we Speaking of Starfire, I might just plump her up here as well, just as I'm thinking about her. Yeah, Starfire. I think Starfire goes in C as well. Yeah, Starfire is cool. The stuff with her escaping from Tamaran and becoming a hero is really cool. She's got some good stuff in 52 with Adam Strange and Animal Man when they're stuck in space. There's some cool arcs. And yeah, her in Teen Titans as a role model. And the 2003 run is very nice as well. Yeah. And might as well do Raven as well, just to kind of round out the Titans while I'm on a roll. I'm just going to put them all together, these four. See, Raven. Yeah, she's got a cool backstory with her being from Azarath and her father being Trigon. I like her demon powers. She's a great character in the 2005 show. Yeah, Raven's cool. Got a cool Fortnite skin as well. Very cool. Alright, so now we have Plastic Man, Mr. E.L. O'Brien himself. I'm going to also put him in C tier. So, Plastic Man started out as a criminal for hire, and he's got the same kind of backstory as the Joker, where he's, doing a crime and then falls into a vat of acid, but instead of turning white and overrated, he turns plastic and overpowered, since Plastic Man can do some crazy stuff, like in, I think, Dark Knight Metal, it's called. He turns into a gigantus, dinosaur and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, Plastic Man's overpowered, and there's definitely a conversation that can be made for him versus Superman, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, Plastic Man's cool. He's very comedic, as you can see with his face over there. He's got some great jokes, and that really parallels off a lot of other superheroes, It bounces off them really well, with Batman being more serious and Plastic Man being a bit silly. It's cool, yeah. I like Plastic Man. He's also great in Brave and the Bold when he's voiced by Tom Kenny, which is the guy who voices SpongeBob. Yeah, Plastic Man's cool. Give him a movie, please. Alright, Power Girl. Power Girl's F as well. So Power Girl is just a knockoff version of Supergirl from Earth 2, or she's Atlantean, or whatever. It's very convoluted, and I haven't really gone into Power Girl much, but I like her showing up in JSA comics and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't grab a Power Girl comic myself, but maybe I should. Let me know. The Question, I really like the Question. I think he's going to go in D as well. Question's got some great episodes on Justice League Unlimited as well, and he's paired up with Huntress. And in the 52 comic, he's got a great storyline as well with Renee Montoya, who ultimately takes his place. And yeah, I just think that's a great, combination of characters. I think she works really well like that. But yeah, Question's cool. I like his kind of noir appearance and stories, that really takes you back to the start of comics with kind of neo-noir characters like the Phantom and yeah, stuff like that. I'll put more on screen. But yeah, a lot of characters that inspired Batman as well. So it's nice to see that Detectives comics still live on with the Question. Yeah, Question's cool. Alright, who do we have next? Red Arrow. Yeah, put you in C. So, Roy Harper goes by many names. I think this is Arsenal, this appearance from the New 52, but he's also gone by Red Arrow and Speedy when he was a sidekick. But yeah, Roy Harper's a really interesting character. I think he fights the side of good and evil a lot with his addiction to in the 80s, and he also relapses in the 2000s as well. It's a very human battle. I think that goes, to say with a lot of Green Arrow books, it kind of brings out the humanity of the superhero. But yeah, Roy Harper is a really interesting character, and I really like his relationships with the rest of the Titans, being one of the founding members. And I love him being a father with Cheshire Cat. And yeah, him also joining the Justice League of America in 2007 with Black Canary and becoming Red Arrow, I think is a really special full circle moment for him, where he, really comes into his own. So yeah, what I do not like is DC killing him off in Heroes in Crisis. I won't forget Tom King. This is a call out. Alright. Shazam. The big red cheese, as they would say. Shazam goes in A tier. So, yeah, Shazam or, Captain Marvel back in the day. Shazam is a young man, Billy Batson, who gets into a train, meets the wizard Shazam, gets the powers of a pantheon of Greek gods, and yeah, transforms into a superhero. And I think that's a really cool concept. I can see a lot of kids finding themselves in Shazam as well, with his childlike behavior, which I think can get into some very interesting stories in the comics as well, with the rest of the superheroes. And also some very weird ones, like with him and Stargirl and JSA. A little bit sus, but yeah. I think the Shazam movie does a great job with interpreting the New 52 run by Jeff Johns, which is also fantastic. If you want to, if you were disappointed by Shazam 2 and would like to see more Shazam, I definitely recommend that. But yeah, and his costume as well, the New 52 one, is just great. Like the lightning bolt that lights up, yeah, so cool. Shazam's just a cool character, he deserves to be up there as one of the greats. Alright, Stargirl. That's funny, them two together. I will put Stargirl in C tier as well. So Stargirl is a very cool character as well, very spunky character. Really liked her show of what I've seen. I think I've seen about 2 seasons worth of it. But yeah, Stargirl is a very personal creation from Jeff Johns as well. I believe it's modeled after his sister. And yeah, I think that passion really shows in Stargirl because she's just a great character, She's got a lot of those tropes with Spider-Man of being like a teen superhero, and she's great in JSA as well. Yeah, great torchbearer. She is. Superboy. Speaking of torchbearers, I will put Superboy C tier as well. Yeah. So Superboy is a gene-sliced clone of Lex Luthor and Superman. So Superboy has a lot of darkness in him as well. He's, on occasion, shaved his head and turned evil. But most of the time he's good, and I think Connor's just got a lot of cool stuff in the comics, He's got that cool look in the 90s as well that I'm a very big fan of, and I'm glad that brought back. But yeah, Connor's just a cool character. All the greatness of Superman with all the teenage angst that you could want. I really like him and Martian Girl together as well. I believe that's her name. Yeah, Martian Girl. But yeah, Connor Kent's cool. Supergirl. I think Supergirl belongs in the B tier as well. Supergirl, otherwise known as Kara Zor-El or Kara Danvers, also came from Krypton, one of the last survivors, but she was stuck in a time warp, I believe, and then came back to Earth when Kal-El, or Superman, was already fully grown, and she was still a teenager. And yeah, Supergirl's got some very interesting stories as well, like the Tom King run that they're making into a movie, which I'm very excited about. I made this poster for it that's on screen. And yeah, I think she's got a little bit more depth that you can get into with her being from Krypton and, remembering, they kind of get into that in the Legions of Superheroes movie that came out as well. Yeah, Supergirl works quite well with the Legion of Superheroes. And I don't think she would, you could really put her next to the rest of the Teen Titans or so. I think she's kind of proven herself as her own hero and less of a sidekick. And yeah, Supergirl's cool. Also, the run by Jeff Loeb is quite cool as well, if you want to check that out. She's also in a great movie that focuses on her Batman Superman Apocalypse, which is a very close adaptation to the comic as well. So either of those, you want to check that out. That's a great Supergirl story. All right, who do we have next? The big boy. All right, so I'm going to put Superman, obviously, in S tier. I think I've made that clear so far, my feelings about him. But I think I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. Yeah, that feels right. So Superman is the quintessential superhero. Kal-El, Clark Kent, those two personalities and sides to him are very effective. I think the Kill Bill movie got it completely wrong. I think Clark Kent, instead of being the weakness of humanity and what Superman sees us as, I think Clark Kent is who Kal-El is on the inside. He's just a kind of dorky kid from Kansas, and he's just a human, just as human as anyone else, even if he's an alien. He cares so much for humanity. You can kind of see that in Superman Red and Blue, Superman Secret Origin, Superman Confidential, along with Superman Grounded and Superman Birthright, which is I really love. I could just go on and on about amazing Superman comics that you should read that no one gives a chance because everyone thinks he's boring, he's overpowered, but that's not where you get the depth of most Superman books, of the fights. You get it about who gets hurt and who Superman can't protect. With all that power, he's still not perfect, and you see that a lot in All-Star Superman as well, when he can't save his father from a heart attack, and that stuff's just heartbreaking. So yeah, Superman has got some really powerful stories, and he's amazing. I think he just tops Batman in my mind. Those two are neck and neck, but I love Superman a little bit more. Yeah, he's my GOAT. What can I say? Swamp Thing. So I haven't been exposed to a lot of Swamp Thing. I don't watch the cancelled show. But what I have seen with Alan Moore, I tried to get, the best of the best. And yeah, Swamp Thing's got some very trippy stories. I remember a story with Adam Strange and some Thanagarians. I thought that was very cool. So Swamp Thing is the personality of Alec Holland, who died in the swamp, and then the Green, which is basically kind of like the power of the Earth in DC, took on his personality and grew a form in Swamp Thing. And yeah, that's very interesting. He's, very similar to Man-Thing, who's like the protector of the nexus of all realities in Marvel. But yeah, Swamp Thing just trumps Man-Thing, overall. And I think he was the first one to come out as well in the comics. But yeah, the edit will let me know as well, which you'll see on screen. But yeah, Swamp Thing's cool. I like him. He is a great play in Injustice 2 as well. Very cool. And yeah, Blue Beetle. This is Ted Cord. I'm not sure why they don't have Jaime Reyes here as well. Jaime Reyes is very cool as well. But yeah, I think I'll put you down here in D as well. So Ted Cord is basically just Batman. he doesn't have any powers, but he owns a company called Industries and makes a bunch of gadgets, but with, kind of opposite from Batman. He's very playful, he's very outgoing, and you see that a lot with his relationship with Booster Gold as well in the Justice League International comics, and the Blue and Gold comic that they had come out recently, which was quite good as well. But yeah, Ted Kord's cool, and I hope that we get to see him in a sequel Blue Beetle movie, because I know that Blue Beetle is technically in the DCU. So yeah, he's hoping we see Ted Kord. Ted Kord's cool. The Atom, I believe this is the Ray Palmer version instead of the Ryan Choi one. But yeah, Ray Palmer's cool. He's a scientist that can shrink. Yeah, it's basically just Ant-Man light, honestly. But yeah, Adam's neat. I like when he appears in the comics. I liked him in Blackest Night. Yeah, Adam's cool, but just, not as cool as any of the rest of these guys. So Adam goes down there. Sorry, buddy. Tim Drake. Tim Drake goes all the way up here. So Tim Drake is another one of my favorite Robins. And yeah, Tim Drake is... So all of the Robins have a kind of characteristic that they have. Jason Todd is kind of the murderous one. Damian Wayne is also kind of the murderous one. Dick Grayson, acrobatic one, and Tim Drake is the detective. And I think that's really cool to have in a Robin. Tim Drake found out that Batman was Bruce Wayne and Nightwing was Dick Grayson. But yeah, just to make your own way into the Bat family is really impressive. And I think that Tim Drake has had some great stunts in the comics as well. Like with his time in Young Justice and some of the stuff that he did in the Teen Titans later on as well was very cool. And I'm a big fan of the red and black suit that he had later on as well. I don't see that get a lot of love, but yeah, the red and black suit was cool. And yeah, really like Tim Drake. Not as big a fan of what they're doing in the comics with him recently, because he kind of just feels like he's stepping on Damian Wayne's toes a little bit. I just think they should put him back as Red Robin and give him a solo series, since the Red Robin solo series stuff was really cool as well, with him trying to find Bruce Wayne after he quote-unquote died in Final Crisis. Yeah, and that Red Robin suit is quite cool as well. So yeah, Tim Drake, B tier. Alright, Wildcat. I think Wildcat could go in E as well. Wildcat is a very capable fighter. He's the boxer of the JSA, the kind of grunt of the group. He's a lot like Wolverine in a lot of ways as well, if you're not too familiar with him. And yeah, he taught Black Canary as well, which is why she's such a capable fighter, which is very interesting. But yeah, there he is. So Wonder Woman. I think I might leave Wonder Woman for the end, because I'll just get Zatana out of the way and chuck her in D tier, because yeah, Zatana, when she appears in the Justice League, she's very cool. When she appears in Batman stuff, she's very cool, but just solo stuff herself, I wouldn't pick up. But yeah, Zatana is a team player. The way her magic powers work are very cool. The backwards spelling is a neat trick, and her in Identity Crisis is very cool as well. I like that it kind of plays with, if the heroes are as heroic as you think. Some people don't like that run, but I quite liked it. But yeah. And then Wonder Woman, just to end this off, gonna have to chuck her in S tier as well, because yeah, Wonder Woman's just amazing. There's a reason she's part of the Holy Trinity, because she's just such a strong character. The story of her being raised by Amazonians on Themyscira and then coming to the rest of the earth to be a champion of the people, I think is really interesting. And I think she's a great role model for women. You know, she's a very empowering character, and I think she's got some great suits. She's got some great runs as well, like with Gal Simone and Brian Azzarello. And there's another great story that I like as well, Wonder Woman, the Hecatea, I believe it's pronounced.
Hecatea.
But yeah, that's a great one of her predicting a girl on the run from Batman as well. So yeah, her versus Batman is pretty cool as well. Yeah, she's a really powerful character as well. She could go toe-to-toe with Superman any day. And yeah, Wonder Woman's just sick. Alright, so after a quick looking over, I've just changed around where I think the characters should actually be on the list from best to worst. And I've put up a lot of the B tier characters up to A, because I believe they should be up there with the best, such as like the Flash. You know, I feel like I was being a bit too hard on Barry Allen, so he's up there as well, along with Supergirl and Robin. Yeah, they should be up there. And put some C tiers into B tier as well. So I think they should, you know, Damian Wayne and Jason Todd both are on the same standing, and people like Mera and Plastic Man deserve higher than C. I've also moved around some of the Teen Titans, put the girls up front as well, because I think they're a little bit more interesting. And yeah, chuck Dr. Fate down a little bit. Sorry, Dr. Fate. Actually, I might put Superboy just a little bit above Hawkman. It's still undecisive list, you know. Depending on the day, it could change. But yeah, I think that S tier is very solid for me. And the E tier and F tier are pretty solid as well. But this area can change on a dime. So yeah, from best to worst, we've got Superman, Batman, Nightwing, Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan Green Lantern, Wally West Flash, Green Arrow, John Stewart Green Lantern, Shazam, Batgirl, Aquaman, Black Canary, Barry Allen Flash, Supergirl, Tim Drake Robin, Hawkgirl, Red Hood, Damian Wayne Robin, Martian Manhunter, Mera, Plastic Man, Guy Gardner Green Lantern, Booster Gold, Red Arrow, Rayner Green Lantern, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Superboy, Hawkman, Stargirl, Dr. Fate, Zatana, Deadman, John Constantine, Swamp Thing, Ted Cord Blue Beetle, Mr. Miracle, The Question, J. Garrick Flash, Alan Scott Green Lantern, Firestorm, Jessica Cruz Green Lantern, Simon Baz Green Lantern, Wildcat, The Atom, Elongated Man, Katana, and Power Girl. So that is my list, and I want to hear down in the comments, what would your list look like, and if you agree with anything that I've said about any of these characters, if they're some of your favorite, if there's a few Power Girl fans that are watching this, let me know if I'm wrong, because I would really like to see or learn more about Power Girl. You know, I'd like to be proven wrong. And also, let me know if you enjoy this kind of video. I've been thinking about making a Marvel one, maybe an X-Men one as well, because I've really been enjoying X-Men 97. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, if you like this video, chuck it a like. You know, don't have to, but if you feel so inclined. And yeah, that's it for today. And I'll see you guys next time.